Have you guys been eating an apple a day? You have, haven't you? I knew it. Well, what do you expect? But yeah, I'm back. This channel has been inactive for a while, but I haven't. I've done several new episodes of The Ragening over at Honey Badger Radio, for anyone who's interested. And I've continued appearing on the podcast over at Badger Livestreams, which I've been doing every Tuesday for the last 9 years. For anyone who didn't know. Yeah, I probably should have mentioned it sooner. Anyway, let's get back into the swing of things in this neck of the woods. Welcome to another episode of Mike Responds to an Ad that YouTube somehow thought I'd appreciate. Say hello to Amnesty International. Quite the reputable source, I'm sure you'll agree.
It is time to talk about the tofu-eating wokerati, the woke blob that seemed to rule the roost.
Why are the tofu-eating wokerati sobbing today?
Zoom and enhance, please. Quote, the wokerati will be sobbing into their Che Guevara t-shirts. Can we make one thing as clear as possible? The tofu is not the issue. The issue is your unwavering support of violent communist revolution. The problem, among other things, is your enthusiastic idolatry of an incidentally extremely racist, viciously homophobic maniac who took perverse pleasure in looking into the terrified eyes of defenseless innocent people as he mercilessly shot them point blank in the forehead. Most mass murderers of that scale get other people to do their dirty work. Ernesto Guevara did it himself. He got a sadistic kick out of it. And here you are, giving him the affectionate nickname of Che and worshipping him as a noble hero. This is a problem. Not least because when someone like that is in charge of your country, sobbing will do you no good. It might even give him a massive throb-on, which will be the last thing your moist and confused eyes see before your brains get splattered against the wall of a warehouse, and your frail, pre-mutilated body will be unceremoniously kicked into a shallow grave with the rest of your useful idiot friends who were so sure that they'd be poets and playwrights and part-time dog walkers when the communist utopia comes around. When you adorn yourself with celebratory images of a man whose murderous megalomania makes Genghis Khan look like a wounded butterfly landing softly on the nose of a teddy bear, you make it very clear to everyone, but yourselves, that all of your fatuous virtue signalling is just window dressing for a genocidal apocalypse that you will gleefully usher in total ignorance of the nest of scorpions that your gay frog ass is ferrying across the River Styx. You are not just pathetically weak, you are woefully foolish. You are also self-righteously destructive, which to me is a sufficiently poignant description of evil. To reiterate, that is the point. The point is not tofu.
Avo, not smashed enough. TikTok only got 20 views. You got a soy latte when you really wanted an oat flat white.
Again, culinary stereotypes are not the extent of your shortcomings, and we don't care. You can chow down on all the soy and tofu you like. Just don't ban everyone else from eating real food. Please and thank you. And on the subject of TikTok, yes, again, for your own good, you probably shouldn't be implanting yourselves as a cog in a ruthless communist machine that wants you subjugated, starving, and dead. I'm not trying to save you. I'm not even trying to warn you. I'm fully aware of how futile that would be. I'm just arguing with you because you're stupid. By the way, I happen to like avocados, so maybe I'm stupid too. I mean, I am, but whatever. It's stupid versus stupid. That's what this channel's all about. Apparently, it amuses people.
Or are you sobbing because the right to an abortion is being snatched away?
Abortion is not a right. The only right you fundamentally have is the right to live. And no one has the right to take that away from you unprovoked, unless you happen to be in a womb. In which case, your right to life can indeed legally be snatched away. By women, and only women, and the medical professionals who seem to have misplaced the Hippocratic Oath. So, no.
People seeking asylum are to be packed off to Rwanda or drowning in the Channel.
Hundreds of thousands of illegal economic migrants, not refugees, not asylum seekers, criminal tourists, have been taxied into the country by the government, along with whatever and whoever they happen to be smuggling or trafficking. And when they get here, they're given free shelter, free food, and complimentary spending money, all at the taxpayer's unconsenting expense. And the only thing the government has even attempted to do to combat this gushing influx of anonymous fugitives is to send about 12 of them to a similarly cushy housing facility in Rwanda, where they might actually enjoy the food and the weather. And that's what you're sobbing about. I believe I already made a point about naive frogs and opportunistic scorpions, but here we go again. When it only affects the oiks, you don't care. You're in favour of it. You're perfectly okay with this oikophobic revolution, right up until it's your children getting groomed in a cage in the corner of a dark, smoky basement next to 2 Damascus goats and a monkey in a gimp suit. And by then it'll be too late. Because by the time they've made it to your uptown suburban gated community, they will already be in the majority. Just imagine how they're going to treat you when you're in the minority. But as usual, you won't suffer anything like as much as the children who trusted you to keep them safe from criminals. Do you live between 4 walls, by any chance? Do you live behind a locked door? If a bunch of strangers kick that door open and go, "We're refugees," and proceed to help themselves to your food and your bed and the intimate carnal knowledge of your pet cat, would you be so callous as to even think of denying those poor strangers the human right to help themselves to your property? Do you think property is a right? You probably don't. Unless it's your property. Again, it's not the tofu, it's not the avocados, it's your revealed preference for stripping the property away from everyone in your vicinity and keeping it all for yourself. Communists in practice are exactly what they accuse capitalists of being in theory. It's the iron law of woke projection, folks, and it never misses.
All because peaceful protesters are being imprisoned for protesting.
Yes, in Washington, D.C. They've been there for over 2 years without trial, like 1,000 of them, who didn't have the good fortune to be exonerated by the video footage that should have been available to the public from day one. Who am I talking about? It sure as hell ain't the wokerati. The wokerati are the violent rioters who burn shit down and vandalise everything and get away with it. The wokerati are the posh rich bullies who amass on public roads blocking the ambulances while the police cheer them on and suck their taint and only apprehend the captured motorists who attempt to remove these terrorists from the road like the police are supposed to. So I wish you the best of luck in bringing justice to those who actually require it and deserve it. That's surely what you're doing, right? You're not just blindly defending tyrannical communist control freaks, are you? Nah. You just like tofu.
And people could be criminalised for being homeless?
I've no idea if that's true or where it might be true, that the homeless are being criminalised just for being homeless, but if it's the case, I guarantee you the homeless in question are mostly male. So are the political prisoners and the people drowning in the channel. And quite possibly the aborted babies too. Where am I going with this? Where are you going with this?
Sobbing kind of feels legit. But you can do one better than that. Join the fight for women's right to choose.
That's oddly specific of you. What don't women have the right to choose that men do have the right to choose? That thing you're thinking about? No! That thing you're thinking about? Actually think about it.
The right to live free from fear.
Definitely not a right. Not by any definition. You have the natural right to life, unless you are inside a woman, and you have the legal right to your own property, unless there is a woman inside it. So a legal right is something you can prosecute someone for taking away from you. Having the right to live free from emotions means you can prosecute someone just because of your emotions. And yes, at this stage in this country, a woman can indeed file such a charge against a man, but we call it, quote-unquote, non-crime hate incident. Are you proposing we upgrade it to a fully fledged crime? When a woman can send a man to jail just because she feels like it? Is there any chance you're going to help those men attain some kind of amnesty? No, go back here.
The right to protest.
I'm protesting against you right now. Are you okay with that? Hey, YouTube, are you okay with that? Or am I some kind of bigot who should be silenced?
And our right to a home.
Your right to a home. See? Not everybody's, just yours. Called it.
Because it turns out, our tears make waves.
I thought you wanted to be free of emotions. I thought you wanted the right to be free of emotions. So why are you crying? Why are you proud of your sadness? Oh, that's right, you're not actually sad. You're not actually afraid at all. You're deliberately manipulating people so you can stomp all over their, what's the word, rights.
When we come together, we win.
Yes, because governments all over the world are on your side. You have power, plus prejudice.
We change laws.
Yes, you make them more totalitarian.
Expose injustices.
You've exposed many of your own injustices in the last 60 seconds alone.
And hold governments to account.
Yeah, see, I can't do that. I don't have the authority to do that because I'm not part of the wokerati.
Not bad for a bunch of tofu eaters, eh?
You're actually gloating, aren't you? You're proud of yourselves. You use emotional manipulation to promote infanticide, invasion, terrorism, and thought crime legislation, and you're being smug about it. Good God, y'all. How long have you been doing this? Like 60 years? Christ on a bike. You're just like any other AI. Amnesty International, you are programmed. And just like any other so-called non-government organisation, your programmed agenda happens to align perfectly with that of the government. Namely, an unrestricted contempt for the vast majority of the citizens you're supposed to be serving. Those who have no concept of what oikophobia is will see xenophobia in everything. Just like a hammer sees every problem as a nail, and a sickle sees every problem as a capitalist pig whose throat they're about to slit. That is a nice high horse on which you rode in. Please do go ahead and mount it, turn the beast by 180 degrees, and proceed to do one.
Join Amnesty International UK today.
No, I don't think I will. I don't think I will. As a matter of fact, I think I'll come out of hiding just to lambaste you, and I think I just did. And I got like 15 minutes of content out of your 1 minute of propaganda. That's one way of getting ratioed. Alright, that's all, folks. Thanks for coming out. Good to be back. I'm experimenting with it with, what's it called? Sobriety this month. So I might actually get some stuff done. There is music in the pipeline in the form of the long-awaited 70s album, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, check out Badger live streams. I'm there every Tuesday and most Thursdays. Remember, don't hit like, don't hit subscribe, don't hit the bell. None of it does anything, but please do consider supporting me via Subscribestar or Patreon. Times are hard for everyone, so whatever. You do what you gotta do. And don't do nothing what you don't want to do. Unless you have to. But even then, you can try not to have to. I don't know what I'm talking about. Get out of here, you!